website right now and download my free course on alternate picking mastery. It contains 5 essential exercises that will take you to alternate picking mastery faster than you can imagine. And then I've included my method of how to lay out a practice plan in just 1 to 2 minutes that will absolutely boost your results like nothing you ever tried before. So go download it right now. It's free. Hey, do you have a straight wrist when you're playing or not? Had a cool comment, a question from a guy who is playing and trying to have a straight wrist, and seems to have back pain when he plays. And so there's a question about how can I keep a straight back when I'm practicing? You can buy a stand like this. This is a stage stand for an acoustic, but you can buy other stands. I really don't recommend this because it's not made for an electric. It's made for an acoustic, so my guitar can fall out of it. It never happened until now, but it can. And you can get clamps so it holds any guitar at any thickness. And because that allows me to stand like this. I actually have a permanent back injury from slouching over the guitar like that and then practicing for hours. So I warmly recommend that you do not do that. If you do that in your developmental years, like 13, 14 years, and as a child, you develop Scheuermann's, where your neck joint becomes angled in a way that simply makes you walk around like this forever. So it's a very good idea to keep a straight back. I also recommend that you stand up 50% of the time when you practice if you do not use a stand like this. Also, standing up gives you the playing position of performing, which will make you used to performing when you get out in front of people. If you've been practicing for a couple of years sitting like this on a chair, then suddenly you get up, you can't see the fretboard, and it's totally uncomfortable. You don't know what you're doing, and your skill level will drop like 90%. So stand up when you're practicing with a strap. If you have any problems with your back, then have a stand like this. I can just walk away from the guitar, go wherever. I don't have to bump into things and have, when I'm moving around. I simply just go make coffee, go right back again. I have a little stand for my coffee cup as well. It's a loudspeaker stand that I use from a studio. Let me show you here. It looks like this, just like a normal one. And so that's a really good idea if you have any trouble keeping your back straight. And you can also sit on the edge of a chair or the couch like this with a straight back with your guitar, even though it's an electric, on your left thigh instead of your right. It's really the right thigh position and the elbow all the way up here and the neck down here that gives you the injuries. So if you can sit in a classical position like this and practice, it also reminds best of a standing up position where you have your guitar like this. You also get the neck. If you're sitting in a classical position like that with an elevated left leg, you can use a little stool for your leg, or you can use your right foot as the stool. So you get that leg up so you can rest the guitar on it. But that gives you a position where you can really go straight with your hand here. The elbow goes down and you have an optimal playing position. You really do. That's why it's a classical position, because you have the most amount of stretching ability, you can, most accuracy, but it has that problem of getting the guitar very close to your head. So when you're performing again, your guitar's suddenly down here and the whole playing position changes. But when it comes to avoiding injuries, you want to have it a little bit high, but you don't want to close your elbow. That happens also with the higher it gets. You want to have your elbow at least in a 90-degree angle here, and not as you see when I'm playing here, it's over 90 degrees. This is a kind of 90, or it's about 90, right? So that's where you want to play and not to get injured. But then also take into consideration the fact that you're going to perform. Also, people say, "Oh, I hurt myself when I play. I get tired, I get fatigued, my arms are hurting." That's how it is when you do that, something that is relatively unnatural to the body. Just think about what we're made for. We're made for hunting and gathering berries and trees and getting up and moving all day. We're not meant for small movements like that. And do that over and over and over again, like incessantly for hours at a time. So the body has to get used to that over time. And it never really gets used to it. Because when you're practicing, you're basically trying to learn something. And in order of course, that's pretty obvious, right? But in order to do that, you have to move against your body. Your body wants to do something that it knows already, but you're trying to build new patterns into it. So you're constantly moving against that, and that makes you tense when you practice. Like you try to, right? It's hard, so you, right? And that tension is a good way to be able to practice longer. Is to practice for an extended period of time to relax as you do it. So for a whole week, you put up post-it notes where you practice and say relax. So when you start playing, you say, relax. And then you relax your elbow and your hand. You might need to play a little bit slower, but as soon as you go into stress mode and you start tensing up, your brain really goes into survival. And survival mode for the brain is where it squirts out stress hormones and all kinds of not so good, not so healthy hormones. Then in nature, you would be running or hunting or fighting. You'll be moving a lot when you have those hormones, those stress hormones in your body. You'll do something about the stressful situation, and that movement burns up the hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, stuff that's really harmful for your body if it stays in there. And if you're just sitting still, doing little minute movement, but you're stressed like just a little bit, then first of all, you are storing up these stress hormones in your body, and that's very unhelpful, and you're going to feel it in the muscles afterwards. Secondly, when you're in a stressful situation, that is a short-term, have to deal with what's right in front of me kind of mode, state in your brain and body. And learning is a long-term activity. Learning is something we can do when we're not at war, right? You don't start to learn, history as the bombs or the bullets are flying around you. You don't start to learn anything if you're not sure if the floor is holding you up or you have to run from a fire. You don't, right? So the second stress enters your system, you stop learning as effectively. So the relaxing exercise is good for your muscles. You can practice longer. You might have to slow down just a little bit, but it's a really good way of building a pattern into your body and mind over and over and over again over a week or 2 weeks, where that is the primary thing you focus on when you practice. And then you can start focusing on other things afterwards. And then that relaxing is now automatic. The second you catch yourself tensing up again, you need to say, all is well, right? You need to step out of that tension in order to learn faster, in order to be able to practice more. And then the exact position with which you hold the guitar is less important, certainly, because you're not tense like that. I can play with my guitar down to my angles, really, and I can reach pretty far. Because that's how it is when you hold your guitar and I had an exercise where I used to hold my guitar up here after sitting with it like that, sitting down, practicing like this. And then I was in front of people suddenly on a stage and I was unable to play standing up because then the guitar was suddenly down here. So I strapped it up to my chin, right? So I was playing like this. And I looked like an idiot. When you play rock music or metal with a guitar up here, you look like an absolute fool. You just do, sorry. So I practiced taking it down a notch every single day. And suddenly I was playing like this, Metallica style, where you even have to have some distance in between your feet in order to reach the guitar. And it felt comfortable. So you can do everything in small increments, but just make it as easy as possible to practice. And then remember the relaxing thing. And I really recommend a stand like this. It's relatively inexpensive, and it makes you free to do whatever you want instead of having that strap around your neck, and you get to practice in a playing position, a performing position, with a straight back. And that's the only way I can stand today. If I sit down for just 1 minute, practice like this, my back hurts instantly almost. So there's no way for me other than this. So you might as well do this first so you never develop the injury. And you don't have to. You can also sit at the edge of the chair with a straight back in a classical position. Or slouch back in your couch. Right? Imagine you standing up playing like this, and then sitting down on your couch, and then having your guitar in the exact same position. And then you can watch TV and play a repetitive pattern you know already, just getting in all those thousands of repetitions as you slouch back. It's pretty comfortable. And you have a pretty cool playing position, and it's like you're standing up. You can't see the fretboard, that's for sure. Right? It's the this thing That thing, that text neck that everybody develops these days, because that's what we're doing, like this all the day. That's what you avoid when you slouch back, sit on the edge of the couch or the chair in a classical position, or stand up with a stage stand like I have right here. I'm going to leave you now and look forward to seeing you in the next video. Subscribe for more free videos. Do it. Do it now. Do it.